If you woke up tomorrow and were able to move things with your mind, how would you use this ability? Place phone camera facing the back of my head, cast the live stream to my TV, then use my new ability to control a pair of scissors to cut the hair on the back of my head. Edit to at, thanks for all the suggestions on using mirrors and warning about learning to cut hair first. I have been cutting my husband's and my kids' hair for years. However, my main concern for cutting my own is not just that I couldn't see the back of my head, but that my arms can't bend that well. Ideally you want to keep the scissors closer to the skin, rather than lifting up the hair too much, which will result in a distorted angle. Although at the moment we are in lockdown and no one can see the back of my head in video conferencing, HMM. So like the stitching scene in X-Men, where Magneto is sticking a wound on the back of his head with a metal needle. Day to day it would be a third arm. I would use it to move around my mouse, so that I can work faster by not having to get my hands off of the keyboard. I'd just use telekinesis for all my computer work, while staying snugly beneath my blankie. I would use it convincing one naive person that I was getting stronger, and that I must be stopped, thereby giving myself an archenemy. I've always wanted one. I'd kinda hope that someone would become so fascinated by me that they'd spend every waking moment trying to replicate my power, and when they do they'll make it their prime objective to put me in the ground, because they want to be the only one left with such power. I would probably use my telekinesis to pluck the hair on my back that I cannot comfortably reach with tweezers. After that, I would eat chips without getting my fingers covered in stuff. Oh, and I would probably also use it to close the blinds if there was a glare on the television. I would use it to make my movement a little harder, so my muscles will get used to it and I get stronger. It is good practice for new power too. In the same vein, you could probably use the telekinesis to make little tears in your muscle fibers so you can build muscle without doing anything at all. It's not quite the same, because there's a difference between microtrauma due to overload and microtrauma inflicted just because. The former sees an increase in muscle because the body is responding to the stress placed on it. The latter just sees the wounds heal as per normal because there was no overload. Interesting idea though. I don't go to parties. Use it to move people 1.5 meters, 6 feet, or 1 alligator away from me, whatever your preferred method of measurement is. Edit. Thank you kind internet person for the Home Time Award. I would write your name here, showed in my inbox, but I'm not sure if you want your name written here. Thank you for the gesture though. Have a great day and stay safe. Probably just make my life easier. Forgot to close the fridge. Shut it with my mind. Forgot to close the door. Fixed. And other useless shit. Edit. Thanks for all of the cake day wishes. This is my first year, so I'm still learning. Who forgets to close the fridge? I think I never forgot to do that. No offense. Edit. The amount of people who forget to close the fridge is higher than I thought it would be. Establish how smaller units of matter I can move. With practice moving protons, neutrons, and electrons around to create valuable element, platinum, from invaluable ones, carbon. Make complex molecules the world has never seen before, like solid-state graphene matrix for batteries. Buckyballs that contain drugs that can be time-released and cross the blood-brain barrier. Make kids fall off bikes. Man, I could watch that all day. Rig a slot machine. Play roulette. Craps. One good night at a casino and off to another. If you're strong enough to do this, you can compete with SpaceX and the like by launching stuff into orbit with your powers. That's a few $1,000,000 per launch. Just launch a few payloads and you're all set for life. I'd build a bigger bathroom. I know that sounds so small, but imagine a great sized bathroom with no effort. IDK, you still have to buy everything and learn how to, so each task then sit there and dedicate your mental attention to the tasks. Physical exertion is not what stops me from home improvement projects. Seeing people's rubber gloves left all over the parking lot is a problem here now, and it drives me absolutely insane. If I caught anybody tossing things, I'd use my powers to pick them back up and smack them in the face with them. I'd forget about it. Keep doing things normally. Remember, do something novel just because I can. Get bored and do something else, and forget that I have it again. That's also assuming you have sufficient energy in order to accelerate said object to C in the first place. I hike for any given mass. The amount of energy needed to accelerate said mass increases exponentially the closer you get to C, with infinite energy needed to reach C itself. Thus, under our current understanding of physics, it's impossible to accelerate an object to a velocity greater than C, even with infinite energy. So really, even with telekinesis, the best you'd be able to do is accelerate something to C, and even then that's assuming said telekinesis is able to harness the infinite energy required to make that happen in the first place. I would travel everywhere on my bed, constantly moving it with my mind. Imagine on the motorway with all the cars, there is just a big ass bed Tokyo drifting. Right now I'd use it to clean. My kids are constantly messing up the house. My youngest just chucks stuff all over the floor and walks away, not even playing with it. It stresses me out a lot when I have messy house. I'm surprised I got this far down before encountering someone who'd want to really understand these new powers on a fundamental level. Like, have I been granted something as limited as Mage Hand or as opposite molecular tweezers? If I were to use a power to turn a generator, would I get tired? If so, where is the chemical to kinetic conversion happening? How efficient is it? If there's waste heat, am I risking cooking my brain? If the energy comes from externally, have I just been granted a perpetual energy device? Is it drawing power from the ambient, or the sun or something? Either way, how is the control happening? A new region of my brain. It appears using the power is somewhat intuitive. If this region could be mapped or mirrored, would its capabilities be able to be replicated? Am I interacting with a new fundamental field? How will this affect the standard model or our understanding of physics itself? I'd probably get in touch with my professors at the physics depth I graduated from and see if we could change the world together. If this could be replicated, it would be one of the biggest step changes in human history, and everyone else here is using it to eat crisps, which I would also do, but like, as a side thing. I'd probably have small bits of key lime pie drift into my mouth. But since I don't have any key lime pie, or the ability to bend the laws of physics, I suppose I would have all the gold in the world fly to me and assemble into a massive gold throne. And from atop of my massive gold throne, I would demand a single bite of key lime pie, fed to me by a very attractive, appropriately dressed woman of key lime pie feeding age. I would lift my girlfriend from her house and bring her here at my place. She has been depressed since this thing began and hasn't been herself. We haven't met for like a month or two. She seems to be irritable and tells me how she doesn't have any feelings left for me. I'd really like to bring her here and have a heart-to-heart talk with her. To help my family with my baby girl. I'm having seizures, and for some reason my right wrist is easily sprained lately. Husband has a bum knee. A guy shot him with a shotgun when he was a kid. What was my husband doing? At his friend's birthday, and the guy knocked on the door. Hubby was the unlucky one who opened it. His shoulder has also been giving him hell lately. C's has a weight restriction due to her back having had a bleed and having an access line to her heart sticking out of her chest. With that power I would move myself so that I'm able to fly. If I want to make money, I would show my powers to everyone and would find some super rich guy so I can be their bodyguard or something like that. Or letting rich people pay a lot for making them fly. If I want to be a villain, I would blackmail all people to treat me like a god. Else I would move the earth closer to the sun or move their countries into the ocean. If I want to be a hero, I would show my powers and let countries pay my bills for doing everyday hero work. I prefer making rich people fly and getting rich while doing some everyday hero work and having a happy life, well, maybe with some villain acts to push the wrong people away from their power so the world gets a better place. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you would like to see more, feel free to subscribe.